This session's outcome is to understand why we procrastinate, how we learn, and how to mitigate procrastination to keep learning. Procrastination happens when we do not do what we intended. If you decide to do something but then schedule it for a week from now, that's not procrastination. Delaying your work to an appropriate time to start is a time management strategy. Procrastination happens when the day arrives on the calendar and on that day you reschedule for reasons like those on the slide. My challenge is the last one. Work that requires a lot of focus can weigh heavy on me while I'm occupied with other tasks, and that stress only makes it harder to get started again. Here's a broad snapshot of the projects on my calendar. I have multiple projects going at once, and each is at a different phase of completion. They all need focus time to complete, but the projects that require the most focus time, and the most time in general, my goal projects, for example, they are easily deprioritized as my daily task list fills up with projects that yield quicker results, have shorter deadlines, involve more people working together quickly, and are dependent on other people's project deadlines. The projects that require critical thinking, such as my goal projects for tutorial development and revision, are exactly the kind of projects that require expert learning strategies to mitigate procrastination, because there is usually never enough time to do them, or not enough stress-free time to do the type of thinking they require. It's hard to focus when you're stressed. The good news is that a lack of focus on difficult problems is not about a lack of willpower or a lack of motivation. It's your brain. Your brain treats mental stress like it does physical pain. It wants immediate relief. Our brain has a bias toward feeling good in the moment. It's a basic survival instinct. Avoid pain, avoid stress, and avoid it now. The brain doesn't care that hard work now pays off later. It wants the feel-good payoff now. Those who procrastinate also know what they are doing and what they should be doing. The should feeling doesn't feel good either, so instead of just taking a break to do something helpful for the brain, we do what makes us feel less guilty for procrastinating. The problem is that this type of procrastination can become a bad habit. Feeling good is like an award or a reward for your behavior. And what we know about human psychology is that we repeat what we are rewarded for doing. And there is always something else to do that feels better than learning something that's challenging, like math or science or APA. Projects that involve critical thinking, making connections, problem solving, creativity, and innovation require the kind of learning that goes beyond short-term memory processing, where the info just goes in and out without a reason to remember it. But in our work in higher education, we are always coming upon tasks or projects that require learning. We often need the information we take in to move into the parts of our brains that can remember long-term and give context and meaning to that information. This type of learning requires both focus mode thinking and diffuse mode thinking. In the focused mode, which is what we typically think of when we imagine studying or researching or innovating solutions, we read, write, observe, and think. We supply the brain new information. In the focused mode, this new learning follows the patterns in the brain that are there from previous learning, using existing ideas to make sense of the new learning. In diffuse mode thinking, new information travels away from existing patterns to create new pathways in the brain, forming new connections leading to new ways of thinking and new ideas. In the diffuse mode, you take that much-needed break and relax, meditate, go for a walk, have a cool glass of water or a healthy snack. These stress-reducing activities go hand in hand with learning, so you are getting some of the relief that procrastination brings without getting off track. Looking again at my project timeline, it used to be all focus time like this. Then I learned about the importance of diffuse thinking time. Without it, I struggled to fit my goal projects in my daily tasks because they felt too overwhelming amid all my other tasks. But by integrating diffuse mode thinking time into my project blocks, I'm essentially chunking up my time, working on projects not in 3-hour blocks, but in 30 to 60-minute chunks where 10 to 15 minutes of each chunk involves diffuse mode thinking that enables me to stay fresh, be innovative, and keep going, keep learning. I don't always think I need a break. Having worked online for 14 years, I'm good at focusing for long periods of time. But when it comes to projects that do entail learning and problem solving, I have to incorporate diffuse time into the mix, or I will never come up with the ideas or examples that I need to complete my work. Each of the strategies in the MAP videos for online learners have a premise of integrating focused and diffuse time in learning. From changing your learning mindset from product-focused to process-focused, as introduced in MAP 1, and scheduling 10-minute breaks every 25 minutes of focus time, as taught in MAP 2, or chunking content to lighten the load on the working memory, as taught in MAP 3. Each is grounded in the science of how the brain learns and how to overcome procrastination. The key to success in integrating diffuse time with your focus time is what you do during diffuse mode thinking time. My challenge is to stop task switching when I take breaks, since my goal is to keep learning, to keep being able to write, to think critically, to be creative. If you look at the list of diffuse mode activities, you will not find watching a show or scrolling social media. The idea is to not take in more information, but to allow the information you just took in spread out and wander beyond the narrow focus of the short-term working memory, allowing your thoughts to go where they want, so they can make new connections, stumble upon aha moments, and clear the working memory so you can keep learning.